Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Moving this again, the sound, I don't know, I'm hoping that it's okay. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy. This is a channel mostly about cross stitch, but crafting nonetheless. I sew, diamond paint, all the things. Okay, today is a WIP Parade. What? So I'm hoping that I can get it all done right now. I'm not guaranteeing anything. I'm sick, if you can't tell. I have a massive headache. I'm tired, so we'll see. Okay, my camera's here, I'm looking here, and this is the way that I always have it. And so if I'm looking like slightly off to the side, that's why. I apologize. I hope the sound is good. I'm gonna start with my least active WIPs, and then kind of as I go through them, I'll kind of talk about my plan, because I have an idea in my head of what I want to do and how I want to do it, and things like that. It's nothing crazy. I don't have I'm not this super crazy organized person with planners and lists and charts and project cards in each bag stating how many days I've stitched on it and how many stitches I've done each time. No, I don't do any of that. I don't count stitches for the most part, unless it's on Pattern Keeper. I just like to see how many stitches I've gotten done at that time, because when I sit and stitch on a project, even if it's for my 30 minutes a day that I try to get in at least, I try not to do under 250 stitches, especially if it's on Heaven and Earth. I try my best to get the 250. Usually in my 30 minutes of stitching, that's about all I can achieve on a good day. If it's a super confetti day, I'm lucky if it's 100, but that's give and take. So yeah. Now I'm going to reintroduce myself in case anybody is new, talk about my channel a little bit, my goals for this year, because I've been super inconsistent with videos. You're probably going to get 2 back-to-back videos, which is my last floss tube. I recorded it like a week and a half ago and forgot to publish it. So that's going to go up probably the day that I'm recording this, and then this is going to go up a couple of days after that whenever I get it recorded and whatnot. So anyway, my name is Amy, if I didn't say that already. My channel used to be diamond painting focused, and then as my crafts grew, so did my channel, and it's kind of just all about my crafting journey. It became really hardcore when I started this channel. I really wanted to start a YouTube channel and show everything at the same time, and so my cross stitch journey has pretty much grown over the channel as well. I used to do a lot of eBay hauls. That was really fun. I haven't done that in a very long time. I used to buy lots, even some mystery lots, and I've gotten some amazing things from there. And I haven't done that in a really long time because I've been trying to really rein in my stitching. So most, I would say 80 to maybe 90% of my stash and my WIPs are things that I bought the first 2 years of my crafting journey, or my cross stitching journey, I should say. The last year I haven't bought as much, and if I've bought anything, it's mostly been floss to kit things up. I did 6 months this year of Brandy's Fabric of the Month, which when I first started cross stitching, I was probably in her club for a year and a half, canceled it for a year. The last 6 months of this year, I've had it again. December was my last month, and then going into this year I canceled it, just because I'm really trying to buy a house, and so every penny counts when I'm trying to do that. So there's that. I currently live in Tucson, Arizona. We moved here in May of this year. I am a single parent. I take care of my 3 children, pretty much on a single income. We've had a lot of ups and downs, with everything. I went through a really turbulent year in 2021. It was the first 8 months of 2021 was very, very difficult for me. I talked about it a little bit last year on the channel. I would say towards the end of 2021, I kind of talked about it. I don't think I've done a WIP Parade in a year and a half. My last WIP Parade, I think, was mid 2021. And so it's been about a year and a half since I've done a WIP Parade. Not a lot has changed. If you have a good memory, you'll see a couple of projects have been finished and a bunch of more have been added. A couple of things have been restarted. You know, there's that. Anyway, my kids, I have 2 boys and a girl. Back to that. I mean, that's totally opposite. I have 2 girls and a boy. We also have 2 cats and a dog. Also, 2 boys and a girl. Opposite. My dog's name is Athena. I call her a mini German Shepherd because she's not quite full size. Her vet says she's fine. I don't think she is, but whatever. I'm not going to argue with that. She's never had any DNA tests, nothing. If you guys are OGs in previous videos, they've made appearances in some of my videos. I have 2 orange cats named Gumball and Butter. One is 8 years old this April, and the other is 3. What else? I am currently teaching, I don't know if you can see my shirt, 2nd grade. It's my first year teaching. I wasn't originally planning on being a teacher. I moved over here with a job in the social work field because my degree is in psychology and counseling, more specifically marriage and family therapy. But the job that I had taken was going to have 6 weeks of travel, which I was very concerned about because it interfered with the beginning of the school year. So I kept looking for a new job. I knew that I wanted to get out of the town that I was living in. I was living in New Mexico, and I chose Tucson because it is the closest city to where my mom lives in Arizona. I'm only about an hour from her where I live here, which is amazing. So much easier to go back and forth. And previously we were about 4-ish hours. You know, maybe 3.5 on a good day with no traffic. But you know, most of the time we're traveling, it's holidays or whatever. So, you know, better to say it's going to take longer to have the extra time. And so being this much closer, we've been able to see her a lot more, spend a lot more time with her. You know, they're both retired, her and her husband, and you know, need extra help these days. And so I'm glad to be closer in the event of an emergency. Also, given that I do live here in Tucson, they don't have a large medical center where they live. And so, for example, when my stepdad came down with pneumonia because has a pacemaker, he was rushed to the hospital here. And at that time, when I was living in New Mexico, that was like a 5.5 hour drive for me. So it was tough to come down here, pick up my mom, bring her over here, stay with her here. It was just a lot of back and forth. And so it's so much better now when they have doctor's appointments. They can come stay here. It's just nicer. I'm currently renting this place, but my lease is up in May, and I'm crossing my fingers that we can get a bigger house, either purchasing, or maybe if I'm lucky, I will find a rental that's moderately priced that I can afford comfortably, that's bigger, because this house is small to say the least. And yeah, that's it. That's just in a nutshell. If you want to learn more about me, I've got a ton of videos. That's just for anybody that's new. I've gotten a lot of subscribers lately. I took a good 7 or 8 month hiatus, and then I started posting again recently, even though it hasn't been consistent. I'm trying. I was a stay-at-home mom for almost 10 years and going into teaching. I already had my degree, so I did my degree while my kids were at home with me, a mix of online and in person, taking night classes, you know, anything that I could get my hands on. And so when they were both in school full time, I already had my associates. I went to get my bachelor's at that time, finished it in a year, and, you know, went into teaching. And the first 2 or 3 months, I was pulling my hair out. I literally did not know what I got myself into. Again, because I didn't plan on being a teacher. I knew the kind of gist of what I needed to do and what needed to be done, and kind of, you know, and what you can honestly think of what teaching is going to be like. But then actually doing it, all of the tiny things that it entails, and the hours that you don't get paid for, that's a whole nother thing. So yeah. Anyways, I'm going to start with the WIP Parade. Again, I'm going to do my kind of least worked on projects, what I call my non-active WIPs. These are WIPs that I pull out whenever I feel like working on something new, I keep about 10 active whips, and those will show more at the front, and I kind of might change them as this video goes on because I have the plans in my head. I don't lay anything down, and go from there and tell you guys what they are. I feel like this is like gonna poke me in the head, but it's not. It's a little further back than it looks. And then this year I have an idea to get a dry erase board, because it's affordable and lightweight, because they're magnetic, and I want to get magnets and print out a picture, a small picture, maybe like a 2x2 or maybe a 1x1 photo of each whip that I have, and non-whip, anything that's fully kitted and ready to go, and whip, and then kind of weed in the things that I'm still waiting to kit up, put them on a big board with magnets, and sort them out, like whip, active, whatever, closest to a finish, blah blah blah, just so I can have a visual of what I have. I kind of want to do that relatively soon. I just haven't made the significant effort to do that. I'm gonna start with these shelves here. I will pull them down and then like pause and come back, whatever. My cat. So you'll notice like one will be empty. I have 4 cubes here that I'm going to review with you guys today. Out of all of these cubes here, these 4 are the only, these 4 are the only, started whips. So what I was going to say was, initially going into cross stitching, my intention was to buy a chart, kit it up, and have it ready to go in the event that I'm get a wild hair at my ass and say, hey, I want to start this today, or hey, I feel like working on this today that I started 2 years ago, only put 1 stitch in, and I feel like working on it now. And I apologize, we kind of cuss a little bit here, so if you don't like that, I'm sorry. I try not to get carried away, but it happens. And then I started kitting things up, and I started learning that kitting things up and actually working on them are 2 separate hobbies. Also, bobbinating or flossinating or whatever, I like to put them on thread drops. I like to put them on thread drops, so that's a whole nother hobby in of itself. Now, I kind of work off the skein because I'm lazy, and I kind of like to just get to the stitching. I'm more about a process stitcher than a progress stitcher. I enjoy the stitching, that I don't push for a finish on every project, just because I really just enjoy the stitching by itself. So yeah, let's get started. I've been talking for way too long. First row. I have all of these have been started since I want to say 2019 is when I started stitching. Yes, because this past October, November-ish would have been my 3-year stitching. Also, like my 3-year floss tube anniversary, because I think I started posting diamond painting videos several months before that, then slowly started transitioning into cross stitch of 2019, if I'm not mistaken. So I've been cross stitching for about 3 years, so everything I'm going to show is no older than 2019. The older the projects get, there's no date of when I started them. If it has a date on it, then it's probably because I started it within the past year-ish. So yeah, I'm not that organized. I wish I was. And I'm honestly like, it doesn't really matter to me like when I started it, because I don't care how long it takes me to do, as long as I enjoy what I'm doing. It is what it is, you know? So this first one, or I guess 2, I should say, I messed up on it, and I haven't picked anything out to redo it because I need to purchase another skein of floss because I won't have enough. But I bought these letters from Nora. Let me move this. These letters from Nora, well, letters. They're by Nora Corbett. So Nora Corbett has like, cut it out. Nora Corbett has like the Nora Corbett line and then the Mirabilia line. I don't personally know what the difference is, but apparently there is. No clue. So I got the L and the E with the intentions of making these for my girls. Started them. They are relatively simple to stitch. When I make a mistake, I lose motivation to stitch on it, and then it takes me a minute to get like the energy to frog it and redo it. Not that it's like hard or anything, but it is what it is. This is my progress on that. So what I did was I started this inside line of the L, one row in. So it needs to be one row thicker. I kept stitching it after I realized it, thinking like, well, I realized that I made a mistake, but I think I can fudge it. And then after I kept stitching on it, I was like, you know what? No, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to pick it out. I'm going to redo it. But again, it's been 3 years almost, and I need to just take it out and do it again. This fabric, I bought a big enough piece so that I could do both letters on the same fabric, so that each daughter has their letter on the same fabric. I'm hoping that the second letter, because it has all this gold, looks good on this fabric. If not, I'm fine changing it. I don't care anymore about it being the same. So yeah, this is like a Classic Colorworks or something. I absolutely love stitching with Classic Colorworks floss. I wish I knew how they dyed their floss. None of my dyed floss has ever come out like that. It's just so smooth. It comes out nicely. This is like a brown color. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I'm gonna actually take, if I have any needle minders on these, I'm gonna take them off because they're just being wasted in here. I'm stitching this. Oh, I took the tag off. It's hard to see in this light. Like, you can't. I should be doing this during the day, but I don't have the tag for it. Because of that, I am thinking that this is a Crafty Kitten piece. Because I don't have the tag, it must be a Crafty Kitten piece. Actually, I'm gonna pause you and go get my light and see if that helps. Better? We'll see. A little bit. Pretty sure this is a Crafty Kitten piece. I only ordered from them once, never ordered from them again because of issues with them. Yeah. That's what it looks like. I think this is I feel like this is a 25 count Joblin, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, old piece. Talked too long about that. I don't think this is going to take me 2 hours, but I've already been talking for such a long time that maybe it is. I was looking for another letter set that was more boyish, but I couldn't find anything like boy but sophisticated. Couldn't find anything. I found like kind of baby dragons. No. Yeah, let me see, these aren't even that old. These two are. All right, this one's kind of old-ish, if I'm not mistaken. This is one of my very first kits by Dimensions. I have Fall Fairy. I just recently showed this on one of my floss tubes. This is what it looks like. I'm stitching this with everything that the kit came for. I have to say that I love their charts, the way that they write them. I'm just trying to get it back in the bag. Ugh. Okay. I love the way they write their charts. They're very clear. They are like big. And a little more difficult to copy because of that. I hate the way their floss comes, but they have really nice floss too. This is where I'm at on that. I think I've only ever worked on this twice. When I started it probably a year and a half ago, I had this little corner, and then recently over Thanksgiving, I think, I stitched this bottom part. That was it. Didn't do anything else. Kit Ada, I think it's 60 count. I might save it. I'm not pulling that back out again. It was one of my older pieces. Let's see. This is Emily's House by Lindy Stitches. I loved it more when I bought it and when I started stitching on it than I do now. I'm not as in love with it as I used to be. I've talked about this so many times. I'm going to take all these animals out and just stitch the lawn straight through because I don't like them and I don't like the scales in the middle. I'm going to make it just the house. I think the animals take away from, like, in my opinion, like the spookiness of it. Especially the saying says, speak for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. I get the scales in the middle, but I don't like it, especially with the crows and the moon and stuff there. So I'm gonna take them out. I'm stitching this on Stitch Me Mummy and 18 count Ada. I had 4 needle needles on that for some reason. And this is where I'm at. I guess I could come this way. That's what it looks like. This fabric doesn't have as much modeling as some other fabrics I've gotten from her. But it's fine. That's as far as I've got. The page ends right here, which is why there's just a line. But yeah, last time I stitched on it, I was just filling in this part here. I keep stuff here in my room. This is like my main storage, and then I have like my active WIPs in my living room, by my stitching chair, and some bins in there, and those are the things that I pull from. And so when I'm here in my room, if I'm laying in bed and I don't feel like getting up, I'll pull something from here to work on. So that's where I keep like my storage stuff. This came out in 2021, so I've started it at least since, you know, sometime in 2021. This one's called Chester's Place. It is a tribute to pets by Whistle Stop Stitcher Designs. Amy Sprinklestein and I had started this together in honor of her cat that had passed away. I think I'm stitching this in whatever I had on hand. Fancy Floss. I am stitching it in Fancy Floss. Ooh, I forgot about that needle minder. It is a old-fashioned library card. I used to love these. And of course, I am stitching this on a piece of 18 count Ada by Stitch Me. No color name. That means I probably got it on a Friday fight night. Haven't gotten very far on this. Don't even know what direction it goes. This way. What direction it goes. And then I was keeping track of my chart with a blue permanent marker, and somehow in that the permanent marker was on my fingers and started transferring to the floss. So you can see like the floss here looks darker than the floss here, like it's more yellow here. Yeah, it was a solid floss, but I thought, you know what, it's a house. Houses are rarely all one color, so this should be fine. It's fine. I honestly have not picked this up in over a year. I lived in my townhouse for a year, and I don't recall ever stitching it there. And I've lived here, for 7 months already, going on 8. And I have not opened it up here once either, so there's that. Let's see. This one's also, I probably started this in 2020. I love stitching on this. It's just very hard. This is part of Debbie Patrick's Victorians Across America series. I have a ton of Debbie Patrick designs. I believe that I have a video up of all of my houses. I have a 2-inch binder that's just charts of my houses. And this is my very favorite one. This is the Winchester Mystery House. This is what the Winchester Mystery House originally looked like when it was first built. These colors. Now it looks different. And it's very confetti. Like, all of this is very, very confetti. Even the roof is confetti and blends. And then in here, it's a lot. There's a lot of blends and stuff. And I think I'm missing a color for some reason. And so that was kind of when I halted on it at that point, because I kept like needing to get that color and then I never got it. So because I didn't want to get too far because of how difficult it was. I'm stitching this on the color blue on 18 count Be Stitch Me Ada, of course. You notice a theme that I am in love with Be Stitch Me fabrics. In love. Hold on. Oh man, I unthreaded that needle on accident. I'm not like super far on this, but it's something. These palm trees were actually very fun to stitch. And there's several more in there. Well, there's only one more. And they're both completely done. The chart stops right here. And I started working on this first tower. Still fun though. So I think that this is going to be one of my active pieces, something that I'd really like to get done because I really like the chart. And then I'll pull out the things that I know I really want to work on, and then I'll narrow it down only by what fits in my bins, because they don't fit everything. Especially the larger the project, the less space I have for other projects. So, you know, there's that. This is a new start. May of 2022. I didn't put a whole lot of work into it. I don't remember when I bought the chart. I'm a little frustrated with the charting of it because it's kind of silly. So this is Aster's Amazing Adventure cell. So they did it as a stitch along. This is what it looks like. It's very busy. It's very stinking cute. I absolutely love it. Originally wanted to stitch it, put it in my kids' rooms. They're getting a lot older now, and if I don't finish this soon, they're not going to want this in the room. Here's kind of a bigger version of it. So what I was frustrated with was apparently, like, she came out with this and then it was broken up into the individual sections, right? Before. However, this side for some reason stops. Like, did I mark it? No. This side stops like right here somewhere in this vicinity, and it's only from there up. So this whole bottom part on this side of the chart is not in any of the patterns that she released individually. And so when I inquired about that, she was like, oh yeah, but it's on this big piece. And at first I thought she didn't understand what I was talking about, and I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I said, you released all the individual pieces. You have the entire bottom piece except for, and I told her very specifically, rows whatever to 200 and 0 to whatever. And she's like, yeah, I never released those. You have to zoom in on the big chart. And I was like, I'm a paper, something in my eye, paper pattern stitcher where I can find it, with the exception of a full coverage. I full on prefer paper patterns, and so I was very irritated with that, and it really turned me off into stitching the pattern, because now I have to work off of this teeny tiny chart that I did not want to do. I honestly don't even know if I have the original file anymore. I hope I do, so that I can pull it up on the tablet or even my phone to stitch it on. So we'll see. I'm stitching this on 32 count Lugana in the color Cosmos by Be Stitch Me. And that's my start. But look at this freaking gorgeous piece of fabric. And then it was called Cosmos, so of course I had to use it. I started kind of in the middle-ish, counted over where I needed to go, and this is like the little yellow alien and the flying saucer in the center. That's all I did. I just wasn't into it. I don't know why. I really should be, because it's such a cute pattern, and I knew when I saw that she was releasing it that I wanted to buy it, but I'm the type of person, I don't like to buy a sale as it's coming out. I'll wait for it to be done. In the event that I start stitching it, I don't want to wait. I want the whole pattern. That's just me. I don't know. I can't decide if I want this in my active WIP or not. I'm going to put it in my actives and we'll check it out later. Okay, this is definitely going into my active WIPs. This is Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. I started this around August of 2020. So this is definitely one of my older pieces. I started it sometime right after it came out. I think it came out in June or July of that year. Started it in August. It might have been June, maybe even May. Because does it say? No. It came out right at the beginning of the pandemic. Almost immediately they had this drawn up, and I had to order this, and I remember this taking some time to come because I ordered a half a yard and it took a little bit to come. So that's what it is. Of course, I'm stitching this on a piece of Stitch Me in the color Ice Queen in 32 count jewel blend. Has every fabric I've showed you guys been Be Stitch Me? There was one dimension and one, what was the other one? That's a dimension, and that is a crafty kitten. I'm gonna keep count because I want to know now if I truly stitch everything on Be Stitch Me. So this one has a ton of needles on it because I need all of the needles in here because I like to thread 6 needles. Did I lose needles? I only have 3, 4. Yeah, I'm missing 2 needles. I am. Yeah, I like to keep 6 needles on this. Let me fold this with 2 magnets so that I can pull my thread, strand up all 6 pieces of my thread. Sorry, strand all 6 pieces of the thread because I'm stitching it in DMC 115, the variegated. And it's funny, I was watching somebody else not too long ago, and they're stitching Pandemic on, with the exact same floss. So yeah, 115. I only have 4 skeins of it left, and I think I've used about 4 already. Yep, I've used 4. I have 4 left. So I have 8, and I've only gotten 2 pages of the pattern done. So this is the second page that I'm working on here, and well, actually I'm only halfway through the second page. This is the first page, this is the second page. That's what I have done. Love it. Why I chose blue, I don't know. I think I was thinking like the sky, and the red. My line of thinking on that was just that it was a, what word can I say that doesn't make it horrible? A negative year. That's what I was thinking with that. So this is definitely going in my active WIPs because I love stitching it and I want it to finish. And it's taking a very long time. I think mainly because of the size that I chose, because I am stitching it on 32 count. And so it's essentially, it's 2/2. So it's just essentially 16 count. I should have been doing this on an 18 count Ada or 36 count Joe Blend or Lugana so that it was a little bit smaller, but it's going to be a big girl because of that. What can I do? Right or left? Now we're getting into some of the, let's scoot over, older pieces. I swear I have like a hair that, there it is. Some of the older pieces, some of the not so older pieces. So this I consider a cross stitch. This is the very first beaded embroidery kit that I ordered. I actually think I got this, it might have been Amazon or AliExpress when I used to order from them. This is way before pandemic. So yeah, it is the burrow with the flying car. You have Hedwig here. I feel hit and miss with this pattern because I don't know, it's not coming out quite as vibrant as I wanted it to be. This is what I have. Can't show my face with it. I mean, it doesn't look too bad on camera, but I feel like the car is way darker than it shows on the picture. I feel like it's more vibrant in the photos, so I'm just kind of nervous to see what the rest of it's going to look like. And then it's very difficult to do. Definitely can't do this in hand because you need some really good tension on here. I had it in a scroll frame, and it's so difficult. You can see like I have the edges folded because it didn't fit in the scroll frame that way, and it was very annoying. because then I can only do the middle pieces. And yeah, I just haven't found an effective way to do this without getting a bigger scroll frame, and then I just never did because the cheap scroll frames literally suck, and I am too much of a tight ass to do a expensive one like a quantum frame or a millennium frame. I just not comfortable spending that money on that. So, and other than like active and inactive WIPs, these are in no order. I know some people do it like this is all my heaven and earth, and these are my other full coverages, and these are so and so and so and so. That's not how I keep my kits in order, and I'm not going to put them in that order for the sake of a video, because then it's a lot more work for me, and I like to just keep it this way. So it is what it is. So my next one is a Joy Sunday. I think one of the only Joy Sundays I have left. If not the only Joy Sunday I have left after everything. This one's called the 12 Zodiac Taurus, because my birthday is in the Taurus time frame. So that's what it looks like. It's just a small cute one. There's no reason why this one isn't done other than I'm just not doing it. It's kind of hard to tell what I've done, but I've done all this orange and brown on the bottom and some of the red up top, and that's it. It's super easy. I should be done with it. I just, in theory, I'd like to put it on a frame and just work on it in a frame, because stitching in hand really hurts my hands, because when I started crafting, I started getting this really bad pain in here when I started stitching. And when I went to the doctor, they did some nerve tests on my hands, and he said that it's called de Quervain's disease, which is essentially like unclassified carpal tunnel. It's nerve pain that isn't associated with carpal tunnel, but could potentially be carpal tunnel, and it means that I'm at higher risk of developing carpal tunnel when I get older. So it is what it is. Since I've started using frames, I've noticed a huge improvement in that pain. But yeah, typing also doesn't help. So there's that. I don't think those are going in my active WIPs anytime soon. Another one that I don't know why it's not finished, other than I haven't done it, is Spellville by Barbara Anna Designs. It's so cute. This was another stitch line that came out in 3 parts. I just waited till the last part came out and bought it. It's so stinking cute. This is my going in my active WIPs because I don't know why it's not done. Oh, also, these are done on the Ada that came in the kit. I don't even know what counts these are. This one's 14 count. And this one is, it says it's 9 count because the beads are big. They're not the small little seed beads. Alright, Spellville is done on 32 count Joe Blade and Dusty Pink by Be Stitch Me. That's where I'm at. I essentially have like the whole bottom left underneath the key and a little bit up here. I'm almost done. Almost. The house is done, I think. The little girls here are done. There's a little bit of back stitching up here, and the rest of the witch's broom up here. So close to a finish. Why I'm not doing it, I don't know. Then when I first started stitching, I wanted to be as conservative with my fabric as I could. And like, what? This is such a small piece of Joe Blend. It's a 17 by 17 piece. So I started way in this top corner, and then when I put in a frame, I didn't have enough room to stitch. So I had to sew this piece of fabric on so that I could put it in a frame. Stupid. And I'm still gonna have, I mean, I could put another small project on there, but still, it was just the dumbest thing ever. Especially since I still have a ton of small projects left, but whatever. That's going into the active WIP bin. Okay. Ink circles all together now, which is this one. I've already done these two, and I gifted them to my sister, all in the same color Ada, put them in the same frames, and I have the frame for this one. I gifted these to her about 2 Christmases ago, and with the intentions of giving her this one, and I still haven't finished this one. So I'm almost done. Still plan on giving it to her, and that's where I'm at. That's what I have left is the whole outside. So I've got the bee done, and I've started on some of the swirls. I just got to finish the swirls. But yeah, it's a super easy stitch. It's just, again, I cut the Adas so small that I have to stitch them in hand. Unless I want to sew fabric on. I might make a pile of things I need to sew fabric on and then make a day of it or a morning of it. But then I'm also too lazy to do that unless I get a smaller frame. And I think I have the smallest frame, which is like an 8x8. It might fit this. I don't know. I just need to do it and stop bitching about it. So, and this is done in all substituted colors. It's not anything different. So this is an Ada that I got from Hobby Lobby when I was still shopping there. It was like sky blue or something like that. It's like a mottled blue piece. I don't know why I chose it. I just did. I no longer shop there, so this is an older piece. Again, I did the other 2 Christmases ago, so that's at least how old that project is. That's definitely going into the active pile because it needs to be done and it's so close to a finish. This is another Joy Sunday that I had originally gifted my mom. It's dirty, I know. I kept this in my car for a long time, and my daughter spilled the whole soda in there one time. It's a giraffe. I gave this to my mom one year she really wanted to get into cross stitch, and then she decided that it wasn't for her and gave it to me. This is the Ada that it came with. She started up here in this corner, and if you can tell, she didn't really understand the concept of the stitches. She did fairly well considering it was her first and only time cross stitching. So she gave it back to me. I told her I would do it for her, and I started down here, and I just started in the neck up. Everything up until here is all solid filled except for right there. I need to run out of black, and I wasn't going to pick it up again until the next section of black. So yeah, that's what it's going to look like. I'm dreading all this confetti up here, but it's going to be really cute. Again, something that I really just need to do that I'm not doing. I love to get all of these small projects out of the way so that I can focus on all of my full coverage pieces. Let's see what I have in this one. Okay, my very first Joy Sunday piece. Joan Elliott. I don't have a picture. I'll put a picture here because I'm pretty sure I have it on my phone of what this looks like. It is a Wizard's View, and it's from Joan Elliott. I'm stitching this, of course, on Brandy's Be Stitch Me Ada 16 count in the color Nova. This was a fabric of the month at one point. This is what it looks like. This was very similar to the background color that they had, similar-ish. And that's as far as I've gotten. It's just this. I absolutely love Joan Elliott's color theory and the way she incorporates things. It's got nice chunks of color block while also using a lot of color, if that makes any sense. This is also using the dreaded, whatever this shit's called. I hate it, but I've already started and I'm going to tough it out and get it done. I found it easier to just use one strand in a shorter pieces, which takes longer, but whatever. It is what it is. I absolutely love stitching on this. There's just other pieces that I'd like to dedicate my time to, even though I absolutely love this pattern. This is not going to be in my active WIPs at this time. Alright, this one was one that Amy Sprinklestein and I had decided to stitch together, and then neither one of us, I think, have finished it. I couldn't tell you if she has because she isn't posting floss tube videos anymore. This is from Shannon Christine Designs. This one's called Trick or Treat Sampler. It's very cute. It's going to be kind of small. It's only 68 stitches by 146 stitches. This came out in 2020, so that gives you an idea of when I started it. Of course, I'm stitching this on 14 count Ada by Be Stitch Me. No color. That means it was probably a fabric of the month. And I don't know why I started it on this side. Again, because I could use the other half for another small project. Oh, actually, no, this was a restart fabric. I originally started Ursula on this side from, oh gosh, I can't remember who did it. I can't remember if it was Lord Libidin or just, oh, what's the dude who does the needle minders? Justin somebody. I don't know. Anyway, he had an Ursula that was so freaking cool, but it was literally nothing but half stitches and fractional stitches, and I was literally pulling my hair out. And I said, no. I got as far as this and decided I was going to call it quits because I was not liking the way it was coming out on Ada. I don't like fractional stitches on Ada. I know some floss tubers who love it and say they prefer it. Not this girl, okay? No ma'am. So that's as far as I've gotten on that. Just, I don't know, what is that? Half the frame-ish, you know? And then I just stopped. I think I subbed these colors for colors that I had in my stash that are similar to what's on the chart. Yeah, just something that I already had. This pattern is mostly black, so, you know, it is what it is. Got a nice needle minder on here. Love it. So there's that. Again, I don't think this is gonna, well, no, it's not gonna be an active whip, because if I do that, I'm gonna have all my whips and active whips. This definitely needs a project bag. It's just falling apart. Sorry for that. This is Praiseworthy Stitches Bump and Denied. I absolutely love this pattern. I don't think I'm going to move this into my active. I don't know. I'm going to put it aside and then see. I think I'll make another video of what I chose to be my active whips. I started here in the middle. The middle is kind of like here-ish where this dude is. So I had to count like over. So I have him stitched and then I started on the house. It's my Praiseworthy Stitches. I'm stitching this on a piece of Volcano Stitching Ada in 16 count. It does not have a color name. I think I have like 2 pieces of fabric from her. It's a very nice Ada. It's got a very nice silky sheen to it. Oh, a Dalek. Didn't even remember that I had that one. Love it. Tons of needles. Funny because I was actually thought I was running out of needles. And I was like, man, I used to have so many. That's where I'm at. I absolutely love it. It's stinking gorgeous. This fabric too, like look at that. Isn't that going to be so cool? Praiseworthy Stitches is the coolest charts. So there's that. The colors are just popping. This green does not like fall into the background at all. It sticks out just perfectly. So I absolutely love it. That's what that looks like. So I'm very excited for this piece. I love it. I just don't stitch on it enough. It's got some good color blocking in it. This purple or blue up here isn't as variegated as I wanted it to be. It's like Purple Rain or something like that from, I don't know. It's either Classic Colorworks or Weeks Dye Works. I can't remember which. I think it's Weeks. Most of this is charted in Weeks. I did get all of the fancy floss for it, except for some of the other like minor colors I subbed for some Victorian mottos that I had, but mostly it's going to be called for. I'm going to move this into my actives and see where I go from there. All right, Amy, again, Finkelstein gave this to me too. I don't know for what. Might have been a Christmas present. This is Mirabilia's Halloween Fairy. Again, I don't have very much Mirabilia. It's fully kitted. She fully kitted it for me. And I believe what is the called for, which looks like it's all Classic Colorworks, and the beads are in here too. Kit, fabric, and I started, honestly, I couldn't tell you what direction it goes. I think it goes this way. That's what I have. Not very much. Just the slight middle of her bodice here, like in the skirt. And that's it. You honestly can't even tell like what that is looking at it at all. This is some kind of linen that came with the kit. Looks like probably 32 count. linen. I personally don't like linen, but this one's not too bad. Minimal slubs in the stitching area so far. I like it. Very smooth and nice to work with. So this is not going to be one of my active WIPs. Came just like this, so I've been keeping it just like that. Okay, now this one. This was something I kitted up in pretty much all subbed 4 colors. This is in 6 parts. It is Lizzie Kate's Tingles series. This is what they look like all together. I've absolutely loved this chart for a very long time, and I couldn't find it for a very long time. I happened to find a listing that had only 3 of the pieces, bought them, and then couldn't find the rest for a long time. All of a sudden, one day I was looking and saw a listing for all 6. I had to buy all 6 again. Well, not all 6, the 3 that I already had. So I had doubles, and then the other 3 are still sitting in a giveaway pile somewhere that I haven't done. So that's what it's going to look like if I didn't leave it up there long enough at some point. Again, stitching this on a Be Stitch Me in Wet Sand, 28 count Lugana. I haven't been saying, like, if for a lot of them, if I'm stitching it 2/2 or whatever, I feel like it's not as important with these ones. I might remember to do it when I'm doing some of the full coverage pieces, because I don't know, I feel like it's more important for that. Maybe not, I don't know. If you have a question about any of them, just ask and I can tell you if I don't say it. So I subbed every single color in this. This is what the fabric looks like, and I have a teeny tiny star. I feel like on camera it's showing up way better than it does in person. This is, I think, a G for ghost. Yeah, it's gonna say ghosties and ghoulies here, and the G is covered in this. So it was supposed to be a yellow color, and I had dyed like that yellow color right there. I had dyed this yellow thinking that it was gonna come up a lot darker than it did, and it didn't. I think I'm gonna leave that G that color, and I think I have a yellow that I'm going to use. If not, I have an LNS here. No, I don't. So last year, my cat was going through something, and I had my bin like this on the floor under my desk, and it was filled with all my fancy floss, and he peed in it. Of course, they all have the tags, and so I didn't feel comfortable taking the tags off and washing them. And I was so upset that I threw the whole thing away. I did talk about it in one of my floss tubes last year, and it was probably $500 worth of fancy floss. I was heartbroken, and I have not replaced any of it. So it is what it is. So I no longer have things to choose from, and anything that I've kitted since then has all just been full coverage, basically, with DMC. So I do have an LNS called the West up here that I think I'm going to go to and replace that yellow that I have here, because it's just not dark enough for what I want to do. If this fabric was darker, maybe, but it's not. I really like Brandy's Opal Ada. It's not as rough as some other Opal Ada as I've seen. This one's quite nice. Oh, this is an Ada, that's why. This is Ghana. Opal Ada sucks. It's very rough. So anyway, that's that. I don't have a picture of what this is going to look like all together, but this is the Country Cottage Needleworks Santa's Village, and it's the set of mini houses. I think there's 12 of them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 of them. 3 on the top, 3 in the middle, and 3 on the bottom. And I kitted up all the houses across the top row. So this one, Santa's house, is fully kitted. I bought these, I think on eBay or something. The ones that had a button came with it. I very specifically made sure that if it called for a button, that I got a kit that came with the buttons. I bought them all in a set. Poinsettia Place is kitted. North Pole Post Office is kitted. and Mrs. Claus's Cookie Shop is kitted. So I have plenty to start with, and I still have these 5 that aren't kitted yet. Some of the colors are universal across the kit, so I won't need to get as much as I get there, but I will need to get others. I'm stitching this on, no idea, there's nothing in here. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's here. It's a Bestitch Me. Bestitch Me's Night Sky 18 count Ada for that one. And again, Opal Ada is not fun. It's kind of rough. My measurements said that I needed to start on the edge, so I have nothing to work with. I stitched this in hand, which sucks. This is one that I'm going to have to sew something on because it's very difficult for me to stitch in hand. It's not as comfortable as I'd like it to be. These stitches look horrible right here. What did I do? And that's just the top of that house. The border up here with, I started with the white, and then you can't even see on here the swirls. I'm going to put them all on one piece. So essentially the way it's divided, there's like 1, 2, 3-ish. That's how it's going to go. All right. This was a gift from Amy Springlestein. It's this cute Praiseworthy Stitches scissor fob kit. It's called Say Boo. The tiny chart is shoved in here with this cute little piece of linen. I have started it, but I haven't finished it. Just because, again, stitching in hand is very hard for me. And this is how far I've gotten. So I've gotten the ghost, some of the background, and I've started the cat. It's very hard to see. They put it on there sideways. So that's what it looks like. And that's how far I've gotten. So, I mean, there's not a whole lot to do. I love how nice my stitches look on this side, and then on this side, they're like blah. No idea what happened there. It's just, again, it's so hard to stitch in hand. This is a little piece of linen. Also looks like 32 count. It's so cute though, and it is going to be so cute. I started it a little off center, but I'm pretty sure I have enough to still sew what I need. And it does come with the backing fabric and a little tiny bag of charms for the fob part, and it's got a little cat in there. It's so stinking cute. I don't use scissor fobs, but I will be using this one. It is the most adorable thing I've ever seen. So yeah, there you have it. There's that. And this normally sits on my desk, but since I moved into this house, it's so much smaller that I haven't been putting it on my desk, and I put it in with all my WIPs. Okay, now we're moving on to more of the full coverage section. Not on purpose, it's just how my stuff is lined up in here. So this I've started twice. This is Heaven and Earth Janessa, artwork by Hannah. What's her? Hannah Lynn. Her older stuff says Hannah Disney. Her new stuff says Hannah Lynn. She makes like most cutest charts. And I originally started this on a piece of 28 count Lugana. Or Even Weave. It's just called Even Weave. It's from, it was from Hobby Lobby. We don't talk about that anymore. I restarted it because I messed up somewhere and could not figure it out for the life of me. Nothing I did, I could figure it out. Nothing. So I scrapped it, the whole thing. I was probably 3 or 4%. I mean, not far. You could see a significant piece. And I started it in the middle. So I had her whole shoulder done right here. And I was starting on the outline of the wings. Don't know what happened. So I restarted it this time in the corner on 25 count Lugana. This I got in a stash somewhere. It's a very nice big piece of this tan Lugana that I didn't know what I was going to use for. So what other than a full coverage. So I started it in the top left corner, which is my typical starting place for a lot of full coverage. I restarted this in May of 2022. And that was just the progress that I did on it that one time that I put it out, and that was it. That was all I did. just the top corner. I think I'm actually missing a color of floss, only one, because it's fully kitted. So I do need to check into that. But again, it's not in my active pile. Ever since I had to restart it, I fully lost my mojo, and I actually was even just going to get rid of the whole thing. I actually took it apart and had the floss ready to dekit, and then decided, you know what, I have the floss ready to go. I have fabric to put it on. I just need to give it a second chance, and that's what I did. Oh, this extra 8 is falling apart. So there's that. Oh, this is not a WIP. That's a kitted, but it's not a WIP. Okay, this one you're not going to be able to tell because of the colors. This is another Heaven and Earth. It's called Giraffe. I don't know. I can't say that. Artwork by Joanne Rowland, and it's 2 giraffes, no background. I bought it with the intention of giving it to my mom one day. Huge piece of freaking Ada. I mean, even weave. I don't know why. Please don't tell me it started in the middle. Oh, geez. I don't know where I started. I don't know where I started. I have to look at my tablet because I couldn't tell you. Tons of needle mind. I couldn't tell you where I started. But I have that. That's it. And where I started was white. I think, and I have this huge piece of Ada. I mean, Lugana that I have it on. Looks like I got it from 123 Stitch. It's 28 count white Lugana. That's it. So I don't know when I'm gonna do this, and it looks like I was doing it tent stitch. I hate stitching white on white. This is like ecru color. I think you can hardly even tell that it's there, which is why like I was so turned off by doing it. It's gonna be 15 by 25 ish on this count. So if I did it on 18 count, it's gonna be even bigger, which I don't think I wanted that big. Would probably have a much better time stitching this on Ada. It's fully kitted. It was frustrating because the middle was in between their heads. And counting over when you're planning on using tent stitch on a 28 count confuses the flip out of me. So there's that. Maybe this will be a 2-hour video because I haven't even gotten to like my really active WIPs. Okay, this is a May Deer cross stitch that I was sent for free to review. Was it? I can't remember. I've done so many of those. And I can't remember. This is the one that I picked out. Again, I need to just find a good scroll frame because this sucks stitching in hand. I don't think I showed this in my most recent floss tube, but I actually did work on this recently. I put these stitches of black in. Not much. But I've done that, and I've done all of this blue on the bottom, and some of the brown in the boat, and some of the blue here in the boat. Again, I just want to find a really good scroll frame that I could use. Not in my active WIPs in the slightest, but it's nice to stitch something that doesn't require so much thought, which is why I keep a few of those projects around. Okay, this is Mini Farewell to Anger by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Leonid Afremov. I absolutely love Leonid Afremov's work. I have a few of his charts. This is kind of, what's the word? Unusual, I guess, in the sense that I'm stitching it on, hold on, very cool needle minder here. It's like a old door. Stitching this on a green piece of Ada because that's what I had, and it made sense, and it was gonna fit, and there's cat hair on it. I just wanted to. That's my start. That is it. I love stitching right now. I love stitching full coverage on Ada. At one point I loved doing tent stitch. When I first started doing tent, now I actually don't really like tent, which is why I started doing more after that project's on 18 count Aida, if I can swing it, especially a mini. This is as wide as my fabric is, and look at my border. So it's going to be a nice regular size. And I actually think it goes this way. Yeah, it's going to go this way. And look at my border still here. So it's not going to be like crazy. And because of the colors, it's so colorful and a nice stitch that you're not going to see the green. So nobody cares what color you stitch it on. It doesn't have to be white. I actually like the darker fabric for something with nice vibrant colors like this, because you can see the white. This is mini, no, it's not mini, Magic Steady by Rose Kahn. It was a limited edition chart. She has a puzzle of this, and I do believe there is like a rainbow version of this. Is there? I think, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I don't have a start date. My mom bought me this for my birthday in 2021, I think. When did this come out? No, it was 2020. Oh, this has a spill on it. No idea how that happened. This was on a scroll frame for the longest time, but I can't wash it because it's on whatever this is. Easy count, magic count. I don't know the difference. I don't have the tag. I just have on here, I wrote Magic Study just in case it ever got mixed up. I started this. This is 28 count. Even weave or magic guide, whatever. I don't know. Very big piece. The box is so small. I like the magic guide, but then I don't, because then you have to remember, look how dirty it got just being on the scroll frame. Because then you have to remember which side of the gray you are counting on your square. So for these, I am counting the outside edge instead of the inside edge, if that makes sense. I'm doing this in tent stitch, so 2 strands of thread over 1, so I'm only doing half cross instead of both crosses, and that's where I've got to. Very confetti here. I don't even know what I'm stitching. I started on the top left corner, and I mean on the paper it looks like it's just a solid chunk of blue, but you can see it's basically like every other stitch, blue, purple, blue, purple, blue, purple. So I don't know, that's just where I've got to and how far I've done. And I went through a good year where I didn't want to stitch on any full coverage at all. Okay, this one, I'll put a picture here. This isn't technically a start of mine. I bought this fully kitted and a third of the way done, maybe a quarter of the way done, from 1884 Stitchery. And this is where it's at. I have the chart. It's Story Keep Some Evening, I think it's called. I'll put the original picture here. It might be kind of small though because the story keeps are long. And this is how much they had stitched. It looks like it's on 18 count Aida. And it also is graded with pencil, like they graded it. They put tape around the edge. But the stitches are so tight that they're not pretty at all. Can you see like how bumpy and ridgy it is? I kind of think I want to restart it. From my understanding, she bought this from an estate sale from somebody who passed away, and the family was just getting rid of things. And I just think there's a few, like, you know, filling these in here. I think it's just going to be so tight that I'm not going to enjoy it. And I'm very much thinking that I would just like to restart it. I have all the floss for it, and so I think that's what I'm going to do. It's still so cute, and it's such a small size that I think I'm still going to enjoy it regardless. But I think I'm going to get a true 18 count, because this looks like it might be smaller than an 18 count. I'm thinking it's 20, because I've done 18 count with nice chunks of color like this, and it's not that tight. I just love $9.95. Look at that, how pretty it is. And this woman worked this is what I meant about working from the skein. I didn't do this. I bought these with this project. That's what I do exactly. Pull it, and then I wrap it around. And then when it starts getting loose, I take this piece and fold it in half and stick it inside of this piece, and it makes itself tighter around the skein again, and it works just fine until it runs out. For me, anyway. It might not work for anybody else, but it works for me. It's got such beautiful blues and purples in it that I think it deserves a restart, and I might even have fabric for it already. Alright, so what is this? Okay, I probably have the teeny tiniest smallest start on this. Yes. Heaven and Earth, Roundel Spangler Autumn Magic. This was the very first Heaven and Earth that I kitted up, and then didn't start it right away. I started a bunch of other Heaven and Earths. The first Heaven and Earth that actually started was the Janessa the first time. This is what it looks like. It is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I just wish they were smaller so I can stitch them all on 18 count Aida and not have to do smaller stitches. I could do them bigger, but I don't ever see a point in time where I'm going to have that much wall space, honestly. Don't know when I restarted, or don't know when I started this. I bought it. Sometimes I write it on here. No. Oh, I made a video about this. So whenever that video is, it's titled How I Started Hate. That was this one, and that was last year. So I started it within the past year. Whoa. Within the past year. Less than that. So, no, a yearish. Yeah. And I'm doing this 2/1 tent, and this is what it looks like. These are my waist threads. I put them up here if I don't want them anymore, and they will probably never get buried the way that I did it. But honestly, I'm not too worried about it. They're long enough for me to tie in knots in the back when I'm done. And that's what I have, and it's looking very nice. I honestly really like the look of it right now. Pretty sure this is 28 count. It looks very, very nice with the stitches. I did a very good job on this one. I really took my time with it. I think what helps is not skipping any. I have one gap there and two stitches here and one there, because when I kitted this up I was short one color. When I ordered all CXC from AliExpress, and they shorted me that one color, and I never bought it, so I need to buy it. This is one of my very favorite charts from Heaven and Earth. I just haven't done it. I really should. I'm gonna put that in my active and see where it takes me. Hour and a half. I said it wasn't gonna be 2 hours, and it is. All right, here is a very pretty one. Again, Heaven and Earth, Easter, Lily, Fairy. I absolutely just love the colors in this. I don't care so much for the Easter part. It doesn't scream Easter for me. I just love the pastel colors, and it has lilies. My daughter's name is Lily, and I really like it. I'm doing this one. This is the only full coverage that I'm doing 1/1. I don't love it, I will be honest. However, there's a lot of color blocking in this that I'm okay doing the 1/1. And that's all just one color right there. I believe I also started this last year in 2021. Or no, damn it. I work in fiscal years, so in my mind a year is like summer of 2021 to summer of 2022. Mind of a student and a teacher. That's how it works for me. So I started this the year of 2021 to 2022. That's how much I've got. That's all one color. I don't think there's anything closed in. Oh yeah, there's 3 stitches closed in. And that's just how far I've got. Couldn't tell you what percent it was. I did have to sew some fabric on the ends because it wasn't going to be quite enough. 25 count Lugana is what this piece says it is. It's got a tiny little, how cute this is. Tiny little note on it. I probably got this on D-Stash. Again, I used to buy a lot of D-Stash stuff. I used to get some really, really good deals on eBay, buying mystery cross-stitch lots. People would just post a picture of the top of the box, and I got really lucky with the stuff that I bought. This was pre-COVID, so everything was still very affordable. Yeah, that is all I have here. So we're gonna have to pause to get the other stuff, and then we'll continue. Okay, so here comes the problem, because except for 2. These are all what I consider right now my active WIPs. So I don't have the dedication to write out like a plan and say, okay, I'm going to do a month on this, 2 weeks on that, 2,000 stitches on this. I just can't. So when I first started stitching, after I kind of had it down and I had enough projects, I joined challenge groups and I just couldn't do it. I didn't like having to force myself to work on projects that fit a category that I didn't feel like stitching. And so it just wasn't for me. And so like, I hate to say, like on all of my, I don't know, 10 full coverage active pieces, I want to have 1,000 stitches each. I'm not saying I have 10, I'm just saying. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to do it. My goal for 2023 is to just enjoy my stitching and have a couple of finishes. Obviously, I have several pieces that I want finished. These 2 are top of the list. Spalville and the 1/8 circles chart. Those are definite finishes on my list. The rest of the stuff, it's just if it gets finished, awesome. Obviously, I would love to start cranking out more finishes. The reality of it is that I still have 3 young kids, and I work full time as a teacher. My work doesn't end at work. If you're a teacher or know a teacher, you know that there's a lot of stuff that we still have to do to prepare for our job that we don't get paid for. It's impossible on top of all the micromanaging that we have to do, you know, in a classroom and before school and after school. So, you know, I don't get as much time as I'd like. On top of that, I'm still a student. I used to be a part-time student. I mean, a full-time student. I am now a part-time student. So that helps some. It's actually helped significantly. And then my kids are 9, 11, and 16. So they're still very full. My words aren't coming together in proper grammatical order, but they still very much need my full-time care, is what I'm trying to say. 16-year-old, not so much. My 11 and my 9-year-old still kind of need a lot of guidance throughout the day. So I'm not fully like in the clear where I can dedicate as much time as I would like to stitch because I have so many things going on. It is what it is. Okay, these are the 2 that have just been put aside. I've stitched on them in the past year, but they're not my main focus pieces. I just kind of pull, where's the picture? I just pull these out when this one especially, because there's not a lot of thinking in it. So I don't know if he still has his Etsy shop open. He did, and it was a very popular chart back in the day. The original piece was a Dimensions. First came out with this piece, I think, way back in the day. No idea when I started this. I bought this off of Etsy from somebody named Stephen Shaw. He's got a Facebook page called Stitch Pad UK. No idea if it's still a thing. Very nice gentleman. When I purchased the chart, it is a Monopoly game board. It is not copyright of the original copyrighted Dimensions piece. He actually has his version copyrighted because he charted it himself. And I don't think I used any of the called for colors. Yeah, I used some. If I didn't have it, I chose what I had. This is what I have so far. I'm stitching this on a piece of 14 count Ada in light blue that I got from Everything Cross Stitch. In the black, I'm actually using 3 strands of black because 14 count, I don't know what I was thinking. I should have bought a 16, but the black is, you can see the blue still. So I'm doing 3 strands of the black and 2 strands of everything else. That's as far as I've gotten. Nothing major. When I picked it up this last year, the end of 2022, I had finished this orange and came out with 2 more squares. And that was it. All this I had already had done. From 2021. Before that. end of 2020. So yeah, it's cute, and you can read the letters and everything. The back stitching, I'm also doing 2 strands instead of 1 strand, just to make it a little more bold. It looks fine. You can read it just fine. Kind of hard to see on camera, but it's a very fun piece to stitch. I like it. It's one of the very first project bags I've made with vinyl, which I've learned I don't like vinyl, and I don't like these project bags because you have to stitch up and these ends just bend when they're stored, and I don't like that, so I stopped buying vinyl bags. So this is not an active piece. This piece, this is what it looks like. I got these from, oh gosh, I can't remember, but I did a video on them last year sometime. They sent me these 2 pieces. Actually, no. Oh yeah, it was June-ish that I did this video. They sent me these for free. This is what it looks like. I decided to do it on a fabric that looks like this background color, and I'm contemplating not stitching this background color at all. We shall see. If I do, it might be just this lighter blue color and not like the purple color around it. We'll see what it looks like. And I really love how it's like a family of 4. In my head, it's me, my son, because he's taller than me, and then my 2 younger daughters. It just reminded me of them so much. It came as a kit. The company reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to review their stuff. Of course, I said yes, because I was very interested in reviewing them, and I don't regret it. Their charts are really cool. I just don't remember what they're called, and it doesn't say on here. It didn't come with like labels or anything like that. I just know that I did a video on it. They sent me 2 charts. They sent me this one. They sent me this one and another one that I don't know where it's at for some reason. And I haven't shown. Oh, well, it's kitted, so it's gonna be up there somewhere in the not started pile. But anyway, of course, I restarted it on a fabric by Brandy Stitch Me on 16 count Ada in the color Twinkle. This is, you can see the blue full. Actually, I'm gonna take this off because, so this is what it looks like. I can't remember what direction it goes, but I think it goes this way. So yeah, we'll see what it ends up looking like. It's stitched with the kit floss, and it's very nice. I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's some kind of CXC. Very smooth. Coming through on the Ada, very nice. Brandy's Ada doesn't shred the floss like you might get when you get like untreated Ada from like 123 Stitch or whatever. So there's that, and I have it in this very loud bag. My next project that never leaves its Q-snap is one of my all-time favorites. Harry Potter book covers by Fox and Teacup Designs. Don't know when I started it. And this is how much I have. This remains an active WIP because I absolutely love it. It's going to be larger than I want it to be because I really wanted to do this on 28 count 2/2, so it's essentially a 14 count, but that's okay because I freaking love it. When I worked on this last, I did all of this, so I'm almost at another page finish, and if I recall correctly, this is 2 pages done. I don't remember, but I absolutely love it. It's got a little bit of confetti, but it has enough chunks of color that it's not tedious. But I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. It's just a joy to stitch, and I really love these rectangle Q-snaps on projects like this. So these will be good for full coverage. I'm really enjoying it. So there's that. This is still very much an active WIP, and I have it in a Harry Potter Frogwarts bag. This came in year 2, and it's ginormous. It's huge. I have a year 3 bag way up there that I have my chatelaine in. I kind of don't like the big bags, but when you have a big project like this, I have a bobbin box in here if it's because I had bobbins that I already had that I'm not removing from their, well, bobbin obviously. Anyway, Mandy Manzano's Jack. I don't know the proper name for this. It doesn't say on here. It just says mandymanzano.com. It's charted by Creatively Crafting. They do credit Mandy Manzano, and so I'm comfortable enough to believe that she's paid for using this, because Mandy Manzano's name is all over the chart, all over the Etsy shop. This is where I've got to on that. You have seen this in my last 2 floss tubes because I recently started this, and this is how far I've got after a couple of days of work. Loving it. The colors are very nice to stitch, and I'm really loving stitching on this 18 count. It's 18 count Ada. I love it. I don't know what else to say about it, but I love stitching full coverage on the 18 count Ada. It's going to be a very nice size, 8 by 24. So kind of longish, but that's okay. But with the 8 inches, I didn't want it to be any smaller than 8 inches. So it's going to be cool. I'm enjoying that stitch very much. That's an active whip for sure. Okay, this was also a new start. This is going to be kind of confusing because I haven't recorded this floss tube yet from where these are. So I started, this was my New Year, New Start. I started Grand Library by Heaven and Earth Designs, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Amy Stewart. I started Grand Library up here in the top left corner. Again, love Heaven and Earth. I love my full coverage. It's just a very teeny tiny start. You can barely even see anything right there. It's probably, I don't know, 20 stitches. I just wanted to get those stitches, and I wasn't even planning on doing a New Year, New Start. And the next day I was like, you know what, screw it. It's fully kitted. I'm gonna do it. Stitching it on 28 count, I don't know, Easy Grid or Magic Guide, I don't know, Lugana, that I ordered by the yard from, I think, Witchelled. Cut in half, don't know where the other half is. You cut them in half and they're big enough to use for 2 Heaven and Earth. So there's that. That's an active whip currently. Pulling out markers and scissors and all sorts of stuff. Okay. Another recent one, if you've been watching me recently, you'll have seen Pixel from Pixel Prime Cross Stitch. This was a free chart on their website. Currently an active whip because it's easy enough that I want to finish it. This is where I am. Can you see the whole thing? No. That's where I am. That's about 2 pages. The frame is all done in those 2 pages. I just need to fill in the blocks, which is very tedious and gets boring for me, which is why I stopped right there. But I'm loving it. I'm stitching this on, I think it's 32 count Silvery Moon Lugana. The other half of this Silvery Moon is what I'm stitching my shadowing on. So it's a very light, pale gray, because I did not want to stitch my shadowing on white, which I know Martina prefers everybody to stitch shadowing on white. I did not want to. So there's that. Mini Heaven's Window by Andy Russell, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Absolutely love Andy Russell's artwork. He is a fabulous guy. I've talked to him before. I used to license his art for diamond paintings. Such a decent guy. Love his artwork. This totally reminds me of Arizona, which is why I wanted to stitch it. I originally had intentions on stitching this up and giving it to my mom. I just might keep it. I don't know. I'm stitching this on 18 count Ada because it's a mini. I have the freedom to do that. I talked about this in my last floss too, about the colors. I'm kind of iffy about it, but I'm going to keep stitching it. This is where I'm at. It's currently in my active whips. Then I have, put that on the back right there. Let me just fix this. Not quite quite right. Okay. Monster Cell, Universal Monster Cell by Witchy Stitcher. This is the extended version. So in her version, she only does these 9 squares. In this version, the rest of the charts are available for free in the Witchy Stitcher group. They added on 4 rooms, plus these outside edges, plus everything around here. And there's several variations of the top that you can do. It's freaking cool. Originally, I was gonna do, there's like a blood orange moon. And then the more I started thinking about it, I really liked the Oogie Boogie ones. I might do the Oogie Boogie. I don't know yet. That's in my active whips. Even though I haven't really been working on it lately, it's still in my active whips. And this is how far I've gotten on it. That's it. It all fits in this big Q-snap that, this is a custom one that I made. So it's not a real Q-snap, but it is what it is. And I've stuffed a lot of my floss here in the edges. It doesn't really need a grime guard, but I liked it for grip in the Lowry. These are a little bit fat, and so it doesn't, the frames that I made, so it doesn't like to hold in the Lowry as good, so the grime guard really helps. So that's where I got to. I started breaking it up and doing some of the rows because I'm getting very tired of stitching just the frame, and then I know up here it's a lot. And the frame, Witchy Stitcher calls for 310. I'm using espresso bean from Gentle Art just for something different. So that's currently in my active whips because I absolutely love it. Winter Geisha. You guys have seen this lately as well if you've been following me. I've been working on this. I'm almost at a page finish. I have a handful of stitches left before I've done a full page finish, but I went ahead and started on the second page because I don't know why. There's only a handful of stitches left, and I started on the next page already. That's where I've got to on that. So the page ends here, and I went ahead and started the next page, or took the next page out. I haven't started it yet, but I marked it, and I'm going to start the next page. So this was what was on my Q-snap. Last time you guys saw it, it didn't have this corner here. So this video is probably going to go up before my next floss tube. So I might actually just skip that floss tube instead, since I'm showing you guys these all now. It'd be kind of redundant to film a floss tube with all the whips that you've already seen. I didn't have any of this corner filled in my last floss tube, and some of it coming down, so I went ahead, filled that in, and then yeah, I just, again, I'm loving stitching everything. What did I show you guys? Oh, I didn't talk about, so all the 18 count Adas are stitched on 2 over 1. The Pix cell, I'm doing that 2 over 2. My Grand Library, I'm doing it 2 over 1 tent stitch. Heaven's Window, that's on 18 count, so I'm doing it 2 over 1. And my Monster Cell, I'm doing that 2 over 1 full cross, and that is actually on a piece of fabric that I dyed myself. I did that dye work. Isn't it nice? I'm very proud of myself for that one. It took some time and some color configuring, but I did it myself. Oh, and then this is also on a Be Stitch Me. I'll tell you right now because I think it's in the bag. Be Stitch Me, April Showers, 32 count. Look on, I'm stitching this 2 over 2. Right? Yep, 2 over 2. 32 counts. It's essentially a 16 count. This is a small Q-snap I have. That's my favorite size currently. I used to really like the 11 by 11, but I'm really digging the mini one for some reason. That is not all, my friends. That's like just in the top of my active whips, and then I have like a bottom of my active whips. So the next one is Artisy. Dream of the Wolf Maiden by Gloria West. Absolutely love Gloria West's artwork. Love everything about this. I started up here in the top left corner, which is my usual place to start. I don't know what happened. This came out of the Q-snap for some weird reason. And that's what I have. Really made a huge dent doing all of this because it was some nice color blocking. And then when I got here, I kind of petered out. I was like, bleh, getting tired of this. it's kind of confetti here, even though it doesn't look like it. It was really confetti. And I got annoyed stitching that, but I'm loving it. Again, 18 count, 2/1. This, I'd really like to finish this, even though it's probably not going to happen. I know I have, everybody has this autumn, Halloween, a Hawk Run Hollow. I also have autumn, but it's not started. Halloween, a Hawk Run Hollow started in the middle because this is the biggest square, and I wanted to get it out of the way. Although I think like these ones, because they're like full coverage in some parts, probably have more stitching. This one, but I started here. I have a good chunk of it done. Nowhere near where I should be because I never work on it. La di da, huge piece. So I'll show you. I thought I started this in the middle. I didn't. I don't know what I was thinking. So my top piece is gonna come dangerously close. I don't know, maybe up to here. So I might not have to sew any fabric on. I think I might though. So that's where I'm at. Almost done. I just have like this corner of that. It's fun stitching. I'm using a mix of CXC and DMC floss. I love stitching with CXC, especially on Lugana and Joblin, because it's such a smooth stitch already. I know I have the tag on here still. Oh, yes I don't. Oh, what am I stitching this on? I know it's Be Stitch Me. Shadow, 32 count, Lugana. Be Stitch Me. It's a gorgeous piece of fabric, and it's gonna look so stinking cool when it's done. Like, look at that. And it's way bigger than I thought it was gonna be, which is why I did it on 32 count in the first place. I'm stitching it 2/2, but I mean 32 count is still 16, so I guess I could have gone to a 36, but I was trying to like not have to squint. A lot of good that did, right? All right, now we have, this one's probably gonna come out, to be honest. I hate to take it out, but I honestly think that it is. Heaven and Earth, Quarantine Cat. I started this as a group, and I can't even remember with who now. I know Amy Sprinklestein was one of them because we all absolutely love cats. But I can't have everything as an active WIP. Like, there's just no way. And a rotation does not work for me. I want to stitch on what I want to stitch on when I want to stitch on, and that's the bottom line. It's very cute. It's full of cats. I'm stitching this on 28 count, easy count grid Lugana. I don't know where I got it from. Probably 1, 2, 3 stitch. If not, Witchold, because it doesn't say. Where's my start? No idea when I started it because it doesn't have a date. Sometimes I write it on the fabric, but no clue. And there's my start. Very colorful. You can see the curtains kind of coming out. I'm doing this 2/1/10. Still coming out very cool. But I'm starting to think that I was doing extreme cross country here, and that is not working for me. I was starting to notice a dent in the line right here, and I'm wondering if it's the line of the fabric, here, because I have never had that happen in any of my other full coverage pieces that I'm working on. Like the Harry Potter has a lot of progress. All of my pieces on Ada, there is no lines in the stitching, and I've seen that on a lot of other people's pieces, and I started kind of wondering if it was because of the dye on the fabric for the grid. I'm totally talking out of my ass right now, but it's just a very weird coincidence that the line is dead center with where the line is here, and I don't have enough stitches here to see if it's going to happen again right here. It's just very strange to me, and it could just be that I blocked in too many stitches there, so I'm going to try to get out of doing the blocking in stitches. But for now, this is not an active WIP. I'm also done with these teeny tiny needles. I used to live by those teeny tiny needles, and now I hate them. That's all I have. I honestly think this is a huge piece of fabric that I'm just going to take this out because I'm just not. I put it in my active WIPs about a month ago, and I still haven't pulled it out, and I feel bad because I haven't. But like, what can I do? I still love the chart, and I still want to work on it, but I'm just not. So I think I'm gonna take that one out. Here's another full coverage. Most of these are all bags I made myself too, by the way. If you can see any of them, I'm not trying to show them. Once Upon a Fairy Tale by Amy Stewart, another full coverage. Heaven and Earth Designs. You've probably seen this a million places. Again, not very far. I started this. This came out in 2019, so I probably started it end of 2019, beginning of 2020, and did not get very far. Started in the top left corner, which is typical for me to start, and that's as far as I've gotten. It's very confetti heavy. This is most likely 28 count because I'm doing 2/1/10 for this, and it's okay. Little confetti. Again, it's just not something that I'm pulling for all the time. It's in my active whip, so I think I'm going to take it out. Keanu. That's a needle minder I made myself. Love Keanu. There's a new John Wick coming out. Oh, can't wait. So I hate to do it, but I think I'm going to take this out of my active whips for now. I believe I'm stitching this in the... No, I'm not stitching this in the called for. I subbed. This is Lila's Studio Halloween Quaker. Now I know why Michelle Bendy took so long to stitch this, because it legit, it's weird. It does takes a long time for some reason. I'm stitching this, of course, on Be Stitch Me Ada in 16 count in the color Fall. And that's that. That's what it looks like. That's what I have. Not exactly the called for colors on some of it. This is not the called for. I subbed that out for a Mystical Diamond Art flask that I had. I can't tell you the color off the top of my head. And that's just the key. That's what I have so far. I only have half of the moon. It stops right here. So I need to finish that. Yeah, it's fun, but for some reason it just takes a long time. I don't know why. And I put a lot of work into it. This is a very cool fabric though, and it's not very big either. Like, look, this is only an 18. It's a fat quarter. 18 by 21. That's it. And it's still taking forever. So there's that. I'm gonna keep this in the active. Then I have. I really want this in the active, but then I don't. So this is Tilton Crafts Psychedelic Studio. I just love the colors. Again, it's full coverage, but it's 300 by 450, so it's going to be big. On 28 count, it's 11 by 16. Maybe I can go down a little. I don't know. 11 by 16. No, I already started it. I don't want to restart it. I charted this a lot in Sullivan's. I was looking for CXC on Etsy, and the shop that I was ordering from, I forgot what my coffee said. She's like, I'm out of a bunch of CXC. You can either wait X amount of time, or I highly suggest Sullivan's. I said, okay. I'm not a big fan of the Sullivan's. It was very affordable. Now I know why. I don't like it, but I'm going to use it because I don't like wasting money. Started this on 28 count, 2/1/10, and that's as far as I've gotten. Actually, this is a restart. I started this first on a 20 count Ada, and the stitches were too tight to do 2/1 full cross, and I was very frustrated with it, so I restarted it on the 28 count 2/1/10. It's looking very nice. I mean, I don't have an issue at all. It's a little thick right here where I was doing extreme cross country, but I think if I don't do that anymore, I'll be fine. And it's not, I mean, this is as wide as the thing is, and I have at least a 1-inch border, so it'll be a nice size, not too ridiculous. So I have that. It's still in my active whips, but I honestly have not stitched on it at all. I need to though, because it's so pretty. Like, look at how pretty that is. I'll put a picture here because I know I have the picture. It's a Darth Vader chart. I don't see the name on here, but it's by Embroidery for Kids Art. And it's just a lot of 310. It doesn't have very many colors. I got a good deal done on it. When I did pull it out, I only worked on it like once or twice. I don't know why I have this in there. And then this looks like a piece of Silvery Moon Lagana too. I might have had an extra square. It's not very big, so it's not going to be too ginormous. But that's all I have done. Just part of his cape coming back. And it's just a lot. This is all 310 that I have here. It looks like you can kind of see through it, but honestly, the coverage looks pretty good. And then I will kind of give it a wash, and it'll fluff up a little bit, and it's going to look so nice. And then I think too, when I frame it, I'm going to put a piece of black, either matte board or like cardstock behind it, just to darken the background, and then it'll look like you can't even tell what it is, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I do have this on my active because I really want to get it done, even though I never pull it out. There's that, and then this is the very last active WIP that I have. What were the last few things that I pulled out? I have this Super Mario World map. I've talked about this so many times. I originally started this as the game of Mushroom Kingdoms, which was a mashup of this map and a Game of Thrones cartoon version map, like Super Nintendo-esque. Decided that I didn't want to do it. Epinasis has an amazing video on it. It looks so cool. Decided that true gamers, which is a lot of the people that I know, we're going to be like, what the hell is that? So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do the original version. I decided to dye a piece of fabric instead of stitching all that blue because I didn't want to do that. So I dyed this piece of 18 count Aida, and now it's more like 20 count. And so far, I'm not really happy with the way the stitches are coming out. I tell you, so I'm going to do the stitch count again. I'm going to look it up and see what the F, and see if I want to restart this and buy a piece of 18 count Aida or 36 count Joblin or Lugana, dyed in a blue color, because again, I don't want to stitch the blue. I saw somebody stitching the blue in Full Coverage Fanatics on Facebook, and it looks amazing, but again, I don't want to. I started in the middle-ish. This isn't quite the middle, it's off. The middle is like here, all in blue, the water, so I had to count up, which is fine. I can't remember what size this is going to be, so I restarted this year in 2022. So I'm going to go ahead and say I restarted this in November. This is as far as I've gotten, and it's still in my active WIPs because I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I'm really frustrated with this. It started out, the stitches started out looking really nice, and then as it started getting further in, they started not looking really nice. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm just, it is what it is. That's the last one. I dyed this myself. It's just a piece of Aida from, I don't know where. Walmart, maybe. Joann's. No clue. Dyed it this blue. Doesn't really match the blue of this, but it's okay. I'm cool with that. Still has some like white, which is fine too. That's all of my WIPs. Everything that I've put a single stitch in. You know, you saw the giraffe one had like what, 4 stitches in it, maybe 8. I don't know. Less than 10 for sure. Everything did up to thousands of stitches. And then of course I have tons of things that I haven't started yet. Kitted up things. I've done a full kitted up parade, which included, did it include my WIPs? I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. In 2021, mid 2021, I did a kitted up parade. I just can't remember if I also included WIPs in that, and that showed everything that I even have partially kitted. You'll notice a lot of that is started. I have that bin there, all that up there, that bin there. That's my chatelaine. Oh, I didn't even show you guys my chatelaine. As far as I know, that's all of it. As far as I know, I could be missing a handful that I started and mixed up there. I don't think so, but it's possible. So this is my chatelaine. This is, ooh, Medieval Town Mandala. That's what it looks like. Or mandala. Mandala. I say mandala. That's what it looks like. It goes this way because this center thing is a fountain. And it only goes one way. I already had a sore throat today, so I'm going to have a massive sore throat tomorrow. stitching this in all the called for. I bought the kit from European Cross Stitch. This is the Silvery Moon Lugana. I think it's 36 count. I even wrote that this was the top. It's not too big. I think I calculated that it was going to be 17 by 17. And I didn't leave a ginormous border, but this is what I have. I have 2 needles here. I only started the frame of the fountain, and that's all I have. This is stitched in Karen Water Lilies right here, these colors. Very nice to stitch with, but very delicate. They can break easily if you're not careful, but they stitch so nicely. They're amazing to stitch with. So yeah, that is literally all I have. So those are all my WIPs. Give or take 1 or 2. I'm actually going to count them because I think I started writing on here how many Be-Stitch Me's I have and how many like random pieces I have. I have way more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. According to this, I only have 7 pieces of Be-Stitch Me fabric. I feel like I have way more, but I have way more full coverage pieces, and those are all stitched on other like Ada or the Magic, whatever, you know what I mean. So yeah, that's what I have. Oh, this is the other Harry Potter bag. This came in year 3 thing, or no, was it year 3? Yeah, it had to have been. Year 3 came with this and a huge tote bag. I can't reach it right now, but it came with a huge tote bag, ginormous. Not tote. Yeah, it's a tote with a ton of pockets too. And then it came with this. Year 2, if I'm not mistaken, came with this one. Or it might have been year 1. Not sure. They all come with a coffee cup. No, year 1 came with a shirt. Years 2 and 3 came with these. And then year 4 I just ordered like 2 days ago. I paid for year 4. That comes around June-ish. So yeah. Alright. I am done. My throat hurts. I'm going to finish my coffee, start editing this. I'm going to count my WIPs and I'm going to put it on the screen here and really sort out, this is not going to be an active WIP, my active WIP pile, because right now I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I have more than 20 of what I consider active WIPs. That's too much. I need to cut it down. Oh gosh. I think I need to cut it down to at least 10. Because that's too many and overwhelming. And I think I know which ones I'm going to pull out even though I don't want to. But I think it's necessary in order to start seeing a little bit of more progress. Because even though I'm a process stitcher, I mean, I didn't buy all of them to not finish one day, right? Right. So that is it, guys. I'm so sorry that this is so long. I literally did not think it was going to take me this long. I'm going to cut it down. I'm looking at the clock and it says 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 45 seconds. We'll see how much of that I take off. Thank you guys for watching. I am not putting anything in the description box related to any of these WIPs. I think I did my best. Tiny fabric, name, a name of chart, name of company. If I missed something, let me know and I will give it to you. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next floss tube.